Nancy and Mark are having a stimulus negotiation today. But will they be wearing purple? Hey, good morning, everybody. Congratulations. The powers that be are finally getting back to the negotiation table. This is morning's LALATE, our morning program, and now the Net's most watched morning news show. Thank you for tuning in. Always 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, with exciting, great news right off the bat. We told you yesterday on Afternoon's LALATE that Mark Meadows and Nancy Pelosi were getting back to the negotiation table, and a stimulus package and stimulus check deal would be made in September. Well, I told you so. The powers of the purple power, you did it. Nancy and Mark, not actually Nancy and Stephen, Nancy and Mark will be meeting today, LA can report. But will they be wearing purple? Petty Pelosi and Moving Meadows are finally getting back to negotiations. It will be a digital meeting. They will appear telephonically. The question is whether Nancy Pelosi has Mark Meadows' number saved in her phone under whatever his name is. But let's get right to the details. Talks stalled on the negotiations of the second stimulus package upwards of 3 weeks ago, and this channel called upon you as the viewer, the purple power, to really ramp up the power and tweeting and tagging to Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, and overnight, and I'll drop it in the description of this video as well, Chief of Staff and Deputy Chief of Staff of Nancy Pelosi, to tell them, get back to the table, get back to negotiation, do standalone bills for second stimulus check, standalone bills for FPUC extension, and standalone bills for eviction moratorium. Well, the better news, even on top of that, is while Mark Meadows all last week said he wanted to do standalone bills, there's new talk that, as I detailed in really exciting news on Afternoons yesterday, that they want to get this all done. Finally, just get it all done. And it will get done in September. Boy, this is incredibly great news. So Mark Meadows and Nancy Pelosi will appear telephonically, just the two of them. Chuck Schumer is off doing Broadway. Cats, or dogs or something like that. And Steve Mnuchin has disappeared lately. I don't know. Maybe he's going to buy some $3,000 lunches and deduct them off of his payroll taxes. And so they have not been seen anywhere. But it'll just be Nancy and Mark Meadows. Yesterday, I detailed on Afternoon's LALATE the upwards of now almost, I think it's 3 or 4 times that Mark Meadows has reached out to Nancy Pelosi since just Saturday, in the middle of a Republican National Convention that's in another city. He has gone to her office, he has called her, he's talked to her chief of staff, he's texted her. I mean, he's basically doing everything but, sending her a gift certificates to some reusable batteries at Costco or something. I mean, he's literally doing everything in his word to get it done. Really quite promising. Now, I call her Petty Pelosi and I call her Moving Meadows because they have been petty and moving. And let's recap what's going on in the last 24 hours, because I have breaking news right here as well. First, Moving Meadows. I really can't believe I'm saying this, but the skinny bill from the Republicans still sits out there with new drafts this morning. I mean, did you know that LALATE is going on tour later this week as a rock singer? And I'm preparing to go on tour, and I'll be in 25 cities. No, I'm not, but that's basically the version of what the Republicans keep on doing. They're yet again saying that there's another version, another draft of the skinny bill, another draft of the skinny bill, and that it's still being worked upon. This is August. We've been doing this since May. Can you finally, run out of ink and just finalize it, or just stop it already? The skinny bill proposal, I should call it proposal, it's not even a bill, the skinny proposal from the Republicans has literally been floated more often than an iceberg heading for Mitch McConnell's house. I mean, it has been floating and floating and floating and never introduces a bill. It was floated to news last week. It landed online in draft form, not introduced as a bill. It got widespread, criticism. And guess what happened today or overnight? Two senior administration officials. Guess who that is? I mean, those are the people that go get McDonald's for Mark Meadows, and Burger King for Mitch McConnell, and three people told CNBC off the record that they're about to release the skinny bill. No, I mean, we've been doing this for 3 months. We all know this. We all are ready for this bullcrap. It's just not happening. And ironically, I mean, I can't even say this with a straight face because it's very funny, even on a Thursday morning. It would set enhanced jobless benefits roughly between 300 and 400, perhaps. What? I mean, perhaps? I mean, this is what we're dealing with. This is why I call him Movie Meadows. Never going to decide on anything. Simply just sort of floats things and thinks about things and wonders about things. I've told you for purposes of FPUC extension, you're going to get $400, $600 a week. That's where it's going to land. We've had these offers from both sides. It's going to land at $400, $600 a week. It's going to be retroactive to the last week of July. And that any week that you didn't get the full amount of whether it's $400, $600 a week since late July under LWA, then you're going to recap the missing parts. LWA has been a really big realm of confusion and numbers, although it's been incredibly great news. The incredible great news as we sit here on a Thursday morning is that 23 approximate states have now been approved for LWA. There's about 10 more states in the pipeline. Second, they're all going to pay 3 weeks of $300 of benefits. Really incredible news. Despite what FEMA originally has said, they don't have enough money, they do have enough money. They were borrowing Larry Kudlow's calculators, so that's why there was a problem. 3, that the money is going to land in your bank accounts within 7 days. Really great news. We thought we were going to have to wait till September. Really, really great news. 4th, that a few of the earlier states will have 4 weeks of benefits to pay because FEMA's the first in, first serve. So there's going to be extra money for a few of the earlier states. 5th, Louisiana and Kentucky and Montana remain the 2 states that are throwing $100 on top of that. 6, a very nice viewer sent me some message overnight from Arizona. She's in Arizona, and she basically called foul on a CNBC report. That CNBC report said that Arizona was not paying benefits back to the first week of that FPUC lapsed. That was paying basically non-retroactive. That was paying for the weeks going forward. She said, not true. LALATE, here's my numbers. So she says that in Arizona and other states, they are paying retroactive back to the first week in which FPUC lapsed, and they're going forward. So really great news across the board. You're going to get $300 to $600. You're going to get $400 to $600 for FPUC. Now let's get to stimulus checks. You want to know about those stimulus checks. You're going to get stimulus checks. $1,200 stimulus checks. Family of 4 or 5 is where it's going to land. I think it's going to be family of 5. Nancy wants family of 5. I don't see anything Republican-ish about doing family of 4. It doesn't make sense. Family of 5, $1,200. So up to a family of 5, $6,000 stimulus check. Wow. Incredible great news. Incredible great news. This means if you're a single mom, you have 5 kids, $6,000. If you're a mom and if you're husband and wife, you got quick math on camera, kid. Husband and wife, 4 kids, $6,000. The calculation is based upon the idea that this stimulus round, we're going to do it better. Really, really great news. We're going to do it better. Democrats and Republicans agree that dependents, adult and minor, will get a stimulus check. Republicans want to do that $500 stimulus check for dependents and adult dependents. I've said that no one's going to really buy that. It's not going to go to the mat. It doesn't make sense. The most obvious example are my veterans. Who, the president and the Republican Party wants to really focus on for this upcoming election. And these are people who serve this country, but because of an accounting choice to appear on their son or daughter's tax return as a dependent, which they really don't have to. I mean, they just chose to do it. They're going to get screwed and get a $500 check instead of a $1,200 check. Not going to happen. Just not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. And then child support, likely to land how the Democrats propose it, which is it will not be taken out for child support. Let me just say something really quickly about that. When we say that stimulus checks would not be taken out for child support, we're saying that for purposes of the federal government. There's never anything that prevents a local court from doing something different. But we're talking about the check actually landing in the person's bank account. All right, so that's trying to clear that up as well. Eviction moratorium, you got to get that. You're going to get an eviction moratorium. I mean, this is insanity. Everyone has said, Mark, Nancy, and all those powers that be say you're going to get eviction moratorium. Petty Pelosi has just been petty as hell, and she's ran out of things to be petty. And that's why there's really great news across the board today about stimulus check and stimulus packages, because she's ran out of things to talk about. Whether she's on Colbert last night, or she's going to, play the saxophone with someone tomorrow morning. I mean, she's done the post office, she's done the FDA, she's done Kennedy in this primary. She's done like 4 or 5 really petty things that no one's really paying attention to. And everyone's sitting back and saying, hey, there's an elephant in the room, and the elephant is not Chuck Schumer. Although sometimes he just it's sort of like that walrus or deer in headlight look that Mitch McConnell always does. It's like, yeah, there's a stimulus package, and you got to get it done. If you didn't see what's going on here, what's going on is that there's a ramp up to get the stimulus package, the stimulus check done really quickly now because of really 2 major factors. 1, September 30th, and 2, the end of the conventions. First, let me explain September 30th. September 30th is when the government shuts down. I mean, it's like, how many other things can go wrong? The government shuts down. The Republicans and the Democrats don't agree upon a balanced budget. Well, all indications are they're going to do it. And Mark Meadows had the most incredibly great news comment yesterday, which was, he said Nancy is trying to use stimulus as a way, she's trying to use the government shutdown threat as a way to get her stimulus package done. And I see it, and I want to get it done. Wow, that's really unusual. I mean, he's basically seen how she's holding a card and saying he's willing to play into the card. I had thought it was the reverse, which really worried me, which was that she's trying to use the government to shut down, to not give you stimulus checks. He said, no, it's actually the reverse. He also said yesterday, there's 3 different versions of Nancy Pelosi. There's the public version, there's the private version, and then there's the ultimate version. He said the private version wants to do a stimulus deal. She's been wanting to do a stimulus deal forever. The public version is that she wants to do a stimulus deal. But then he says there's this other version just sort of comes out of nowhere that suddenly just goes, to Arkansas. And that's probably the postal part of her. So really great news about that. The other thing that is also the impetus to get this done is the end of the conventions, which you really don't know because no one really tells you unless you're Rachel Maddow, who did a really good job explaining this the other night, is that, these conventions are pre-taped. They are television events that were pre-taped with very expensive budgets weeks ago based upon a different news cycle, based upon different stimulus talks at that time. And you can't interrupt that discussion. You can't interrupt that expenditure of a pre-taped TV show with a lot of focus on something else of policy right now, whether it's post office or stimulus or anything else. And so they wanted to get through all these conventions, get them out, get their pre-tape broadcasting out, get their political polls impacted because of it, and then get back to policy, which is stimulus. So there you go. Really great news. More great news on a reverse scenario this morning is the economic data. New economic data released minutes ago obtained by LA also suggests the need for stimulus ASAP. First, Jerome Powell spoke, Federal Reserve Chair, minutes ago talking about the importance to get the economy going. It's not going. He's worried about stagnation. He needs a little bit of inflation. He's going to focus on 2% inflation going forward because he says there's real bad stagnation at the moment. You don't want stagnation. He says there's no movement on this economy. It's flat. It's stale. And you can't have a stale economy because it doesn't work. I'm not going to go too much into his discussion because it's a little bit hyper technical. But the other number that everyone understands is the Thursday jobless claims number. It came out over 1 million again. I told you yesterday. This every Thursday, a new number is released that indicates the number of new jobless claims. These are new jobless claims in the last 7 days, and it's just getting worse. It's not improving. So the new number came in, and it's 1.104. This marks the 23rd week of new jobless claims at over 1 million, which is, a U.S. history, U.S. record history. Before the pandemic, we were at 200,000 new jobless claims per week in the month of February or March. That was the lowest point on recorded history. Unemployment numbers were at the best ever of ever recorded history of the U.S., lowest among Hispanics and African Americans especially. But when the pandemic hit, it just went through the roof. It went to 1 million. The first stimulus package came out. It didn't help. It still stayed at 1 million. It stayed at 1 million every single week except 2 weeks ago where it dropped to 900,000, which was nothing to celebrate about, and then went right back up. So continuing job claims continue to drop, but still indicate a highly stressed labor market, says Jamie Cox, managing partner at Harris Financial Group in Virginia. Even 1 million person drop in the total number of unemployment is still not enough if there's a lot of work to be done, because 14 million people are still receiving unemployment benefits of some kind. These are enormous numbers as the sun starts to come in, boy. Enormous numbers as unemployment continues to be on the rise. Second quarter GDP came in, and it's not good as well. Second quarter GDP, which is an indication of how strong this economy is or how weak, fell by 31.7%. It's the worst drop in U.S. history. It's the second quarter of the year, and according to the Commerce Department, which is a federal agency, reported a drop of 31.7%, down from 32.9%. Even with its revision, it was the worst drop ever in recorded history. The drop is more than triple the all-time previous record. So these are insanely bad numbers. The economy contracted at 5% pace in the first quarter. The economy entered a recession February. So there's no dispute that we're in a recession. It does not look like it's a depression, but it's no dispute that we're in a recession. It started in February. It has not stopped. It has not improved. As we come into the fall, we have really three forces at issue. You, the purple power, one group of people that seems to want to portray this economy in through rose-colored glasses, and then the other group of people that understand it's bad but aren't doing anything about it. This is why you, as the purple power, as people who really understand the situation and are the voice of reason, understand that stimulus needs to be done now. What you've been able to do is take the information that I give you in a very simplified form. I try to reduce very complex economic data into something very simple for you to understand. And you've been able to understand, hey, we need stimulus in this economy. We can't have unemployment. We can't have people on the street. We can't have homelessness. We can't have people hungry. We need stimulus. You've been able to take that and then go on social media, Twitter and Facebook, and share these videos and like and tag people and say, hey, we need stimulus. And the people you're tagging are two types of people on both sides. One side are some Republicans who absolutely continually portray this economy on rebound. It's not on rebound. It's not on rebound. It's not on rebound. You need to get the economy going now, because if you delay the rebound of the economy, it's going to get worse. They keep on, some of the Republicans actually say that there's incredible job growth. There's not job growth. Then on the other side, you have some Democrats who understand the economic data, can repeat it back to you like you and I talk about it, but they don't want to do anything. They think they can just sit back and talk about post office, FDA, CDC, all these other agencies have nothing to do with stimulus, and they think they can just deal with stimulus weeks or months later. No, or they're lazy. Or they're petty. So you need to continue to push the envelope. Please go to the Furnace channel, and please, first of all, do a couple things. Let's get together. First, can you like this video? There's a little button that says like. Please like the video. It helps the algorithm. Boy, yesterday you really good at this. I mean, I generally, as you know, I never really ask people to like videos because I just assume you do. But when you did, boy, let's keep on liking the videos. That helps it because it pushes them up in the ranks, so you see them earlier before, this, all that junk out there. Next, please keep on tagging your politicians. Purple Power, Purple Pledge. And finally, go to the Furnace channel, hit the subscribe and alert button so you can alert when a new video goes live or when the lighting comes in my face and I try to move out of camera shot. I wore the purple for you this morning. I got that lighted. So hit that like and subscribe button. Finally, let's keep the people of Louisiana, Texas, and neighboring states in our prayers as Laura just continues to pummel through that area. Thank you for tuning in to LALATE evenings and afternoons for our double coverage of Hurricane Laura and her projected path across the southwest and the mid-Atlantic states. Boy, it's just very, very disconcerting and very scary. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay smiling. Join me for Afternoons LA coming up next. And as always, stay at LA for more.